I remember when we were strong. The Viridian Outriders, a bold fraternity dedicated to preserving the safety of the needful traveler. Within my lifetime, I have seen us fall so far, replaced by the steel and gold of a king I once called friend. New threats arise, though, and his cutlass and coin may not be enough to save our people. We're still here, though. Less than we were. But we're here, and we'll help where we can. That is my oath.
Hello, and welcome back to Another Path. My name is Chase, and I remain your GM. Today, our heroes grapple with the revelations granted to them by the Sleepless Seer. Thank you to our backers, Kasia, Brianna, and Janine for their support. If you like what you hear, consider donating to us at patreon.com/ghostlightmedia, and maybe try checking out some of the other shows on the network. But with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy your trip down another path.
Do we need to take any time to address the elephant in the room that is the 2024 Player's Handbook?
There's the what?
Come on. No, come on.
What do you mean 2024 Player's Handbook?
Sorry.
says copyright 2014.
Sorry. D&D 5.5.
Yeah, 5+ is what I've heard it called.
5 asterisk.
Ass is right.
Hashtag got him.
So here is what I think I will say as the GM of this podcast, and it is very nice that Hasbro has decided that they wanted to make more money.
It was pretty nice of them.
Genuinely, actually, what I will say is that we're ignoring it.
Yeah.
That's the beginning and end of it.
I'll give you one great reason why. Because artificers don't exist in it.
Yeah. There is that. Yeah, artificers.
One of many reasons.
Harper and Dieter just poof away.
Also, I don't actually trust that book was not at least in part written by AI, and that feels gross.
Yeah.
I know that the books I already have don't have any of that. I know that the second and third party books that I buy don't have any of that. And I know that the wildly successful Sync Kickstarter project that funded fucking instantly.
Yeah. Cheers to Johnny and the team.
I was all set and ready to be like one of the first people to do that Kickstarter. I get in there and it's like, no, you are in fact the 1500th person to back this thing. And it has already been funded like a time and a half over.
Yeah, it was at 0, and I went in to go make my pledge. And from the time it took me to go through that and reserve my book, it had already been funded.
Yeah.
Yep. 10 minutes I think was the official count.
Incredible.
Funded in 10 minutes.
Fantastic. Friend of the show,
suffice to
Johnny
say,
Stanton. Great job.
Yes.
So we do
Great job, Johnny and
incorporate
team.
sync rules, and once I get my hand on the book, if there are any magic items I want, I'm going to try to force them into this show.
Well, so here's the thing, is that by the time the book comes out, we will almost certainly be looking at, like, starting a new campaign with new characters.
Oh, yeah, definitely, but still, I'm, like, magic items from pirates.
Yeah,
I want to play that crazy tattoo wizard.
for sure.
Crazy Tattoo Wizard sounds like a good time.
Yeah. On the
Can we
topic
just all
of
be
the
pirates? Let's just all be pirates right now.
That sounds great.
So here's a peek behind the curtain for the fine folks. I did pitch a pirate game at one point.
You did.
You did.
I did it for the second season. Like,
Yeah.
if y'all didn't want to play your original characters, I was down to run pirate.
We
game.
were gonna GTFO and play pirate game, and then we made a hard, strong choice for episode 50.
I have a whole like island chain basically already written that I have run like before.
Yeah.
They are fully fleshed out. We can go to the erstwhile islands.
I believe that's where the Wanderers, the speaker for the Wanderer, went out on a saunter.
Yes.
Correct.
Point for Ryan on the trivia board.
Flintlock is ready to go.
Flintlock and pistol.
He will rise again.
I do want to share one thing that I discovered about the 2024 Player's Handbook. An oversight that someone has already found. Apparently in the description of opportunity attacks, it does not specify that you can only make a opportunity attack against a hostile creature. Combo that with Warcaster, which lets you cast a spell as a reaction as an opportunity attack. Arabin runs by Cecil. Cecil takes an opportunity attack on Arabin with Warcaster, casts haste on Arabin as a reaction.
Oh my god.
Rules is written, it's legal.
That's insane.
Any buff spell, any touch range
excuse me
buff
for 1
spell.
second. Let me. Yep.
Can we pick and choose things to add?
No.
But they did fix chill touch, right?
No, I did check. I did check. It's still called Chill Touch. I posit, still to this day, it should be called Icky Sticky Skelly Hand, and it'd be even better.
How about the Bad Bone Hand?
Bad Bone Hand is like my number 2.
Okay.
I think Icky Sticky Skelly Hand is a little verbose.
Bad Bone Hand was my nickname in high school.
I've seen the photos. They hang on the wall.
There goes Bad Bone Hand.
There you go.
Going to choir.
Yes, the 2024 Player's Handbook exists, and no, we don't care.
Yeah, but it's basically.
We will let you all know if we care at some point.
I found a copy and have been perusing it, and like it's aight. The biggest sweeping changes are to the classes. And I will say, like, on the one hand, like, I was reading Barbarian because I got, soft spot for Barbarian. And, like, there's some cool shit in there. I think they zhuzh up a lot of features that were kind of butt. But at the same time, it's like, there's just not a consistent tone. It's fine, but they also get rid of a lot of subclasses that we've come to know and love. Like Hexblade doesn't exist. What? So Arabin wouldn't be able to be ported over 100%.
Arabin and Harper just poof into thin air.
Yeah,
Is Clockwork Sorcerer in there? I'm going to get...
Clockwork
No.
is.
Oh, it is? Wow.
Yeah, all the classes now have a total of 4 subclasses each. And the other big weird change is every class gets its subclass at level 3. So even
Okay, you know what? That makes sense.
But it's kind of weird though, because you can be a level 2 warlock and not have your patron technically.
Yeah.
You can be a level 2 cleric and not have a divine domain. It's kind of weird.
I mean, I want to lean into that storytelling hard.
I do too. But this is also just reinforcing the like community standard that like everyone agrees kind of on their own that like D&D starts at level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
D&D starts when everyone gets their subclasses. They just did this to make multi-classing less cool.
Oh.
Because now I can't now I can't do a cool scene. Ryan can't kill my character and offer me a warlock patron to revive me and then force me to take a level 1 warlock. He can, but now I get invocations at level 1 and that's it.
You get Eldritch Blast.
I get Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would take Eldritch Blast.
Right.
Eldritch
but, like,
Blast is not
it's-
nothing.
No.
No, I know.
I've contemplated in the very rare instances of me being a player of taking Eldritch Blast as a bard for magical secrets.
Yeah, right?
That
Because
would be good.
like one, I'm always a proponent of taking a cantrip when you can. The actual instance when I did do this was in Baldur's Gate 3.
Magic Initiate?
Yeah, like Magic
Yeah.
Initiate, like anything that lets you take whatever spell you want, and if Eldritch Blast is on the table, why would you not take the best cantrip? Like
That's another weird thing where backgrounds now have a way more attached to them.
yeah,
Your like kind of level like character creation ability score boosts are attached to your background, not your species. And backgrounds also come with a feat. So they've kind of weakened a lot of the feats we know and love, like Lucky and Savage Attacker and Magic Initiate. So if you're an Acolyte background, you start with Magic Initiate Cleric. You get 2 Cleric cantrips and a Cleric spell once per day because you grew up in a temple. If you're a Merchant, you get the Lucky feat, just writ large. And Lucky uses are now tied to your proficiency bonus. It's not just 3 max. So as you get to higher level, you get way more luck points.
That makes way more sense.
a lot of things are now like tied to your proficiency bonus or like an ability score.
Taking Eldritch Blast with Magic Initiate is a good strategy, but if I'm doing Magic Initiate and you think I'm not taking Find Familiar every single time, you're out of your damn mind.
It's largely what it's there for, 100%.
Yes, exactly.
There's some good things. There's some weird things. There's some things I disagree with. It's aight, I guess.
The button I will put on this for us as a group is if we were interested in making that kind of a shift or an upgrade, I would actually recommend / ask that we consider Tales of the Valiant before we upgrade it to 5.5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I played Tales of the Valiant at Gen Con.
That's the Cobalt Press one, right?
Yeah. And when I tell you, I literally sat down, read the character sheet, and realized, oh, I can just play this. I just know this. I have to learn nothing.
Incredible.
In order to make this shift. It was that easy. Artificer is in base game.
Woo!
It's called Mechanist. And the big difference that I think 5.5 is including a little bit of is that weapons have essentially cantrips attached to them.
Yeah,
so
basically.
Fighters, like melee people, can do like special things mid-combat, sometimes as bonus actions that aren't like
They're
full
like
attacks, but can impose like status effects.
They're like mini maneuvers. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I am also perfectly fine sticking with what we've been doing.
Yeah, regular 5e is fine.
It's great.
Yeah.
5e, you can bend a lot and it won't break.
Exactly.
And if it does break, then it means that we're telling a good story. Star Wipe!
The town of Bering is waking up and starting about its day. Over at the Steeping Scrolls, Cecil had assigned some of the older of the younger set to come by and open things up. The town guard is beginning to change out their duties. Night shift is turning in, morning shift is clocking in. And far below the city in the crypt of the Outriders, Cecil, Erebin, and Harper are waking to the true world once again with far more information than they had before.
How much of a like do we have like a hangover kind of feeling, or how?
Well, we came back last time, and then I summoned an aberration.
Oh yeah, we did chat for a little bit, and Erebin did cast a spell. So okay, I'm there. Cool.
You're feeling pretty good. It's kind of that moment where, like, after you've had a good bit to drink, like, but it was early enough in the day that presence has just kind of worn off. So you're feeling like a little stiff, but it's nothing that, you know, a good drink of water and a shake off wouldn't take care of.
I think Harper's struggling a little bit to rectify that what she experienced is real, and is like even maybe talking out loud a little bit of just like, nah, I mean, there can't, like, you know, isn't the denial phase. But then as like she's packing up, her like notebook kind of tumbles out of her rucksack and hits the ground and opens to pages where she has taken notes about what she learned and things she experienced in the visions.
Yep.
And just kind of like sits cross-legged in front of it and is like puts a hand on the page and just like, oh shit.
Cecil has sat up, blinked twice, and has no expression on their face, and just pulls out the scroll of notes that they have and is diligently writing down everything they have learned for the record, with the realization that whatever they're writing down might be used against a king. So they're being very particular about it, and they're going to be able to disassociate a little bit.
Erebin is pacing back and forth. There is rage in his eyes. He doesn't want to stay here. He wants to find Sterling, and he wants to end this.
Hey friends, before we get out of here, I know it's going to be a minute still. I think we need to decide something very important right now.
Yes?
Do we talk to Luca?
That's going to be my first stop.
Yeah, he has to know.
Yeah, I figure there's one of two ways this could go, and it's we do it right or we go rogue. And honestly, I'm fine with either, but I wanted to address that. Oh man,
I figure whatever happens next for us as the Outriders, it's probably going to look like going road no matter what choice we take.
fair. I mean, we're effectively painting a target on one of our own,
Yes. Yes, we are.
and he's the money guy.
Yes, there's that too.
Fuck.
There's a gentle tapping on the door. It is locked from the outside. After a few moments, you do hear a, "You all right in there?"
I'll go let Lenny in.
Oh,
Hey,
Harper.
morning, Lenny.
good morning. How'd it go?
It was good. It was enlightening, which I think is the whole point.
It is. Excellent. You all look troubled. I've heard that's a side effect.
Troubled is one word for it, Lenny.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take
Yeah.
in.
I imagine.
Finding out hard truths about the world is a lot for a single night.
Oh, I believe it. There's a lot going on. Well then, if you're doing well enough, then I'll leave you to it. Breakfast is being served, of course. I'm going to get my fill and then head over to the library should you all need anything.
Thank you, Lenny. I will, I think I'll come find you in a bit.
Thanks, Lenny.
And Lenny leaves.
I have a second question.
Yes.
I got a project now.
Yes, you do.
I don't think I can do it myself.
Okay.
Well,
What do you propose?
when we hit our flow, me and Bailey and Dieter worked real well together. And Dieter and I have I've got sort of like the mechanical knowledge. Dieter's got the engineering knowledge. And Bailey has the magic knowledge.
Well, they've been read in on the device at this point, right?
I don't know that Dieter has, but I'm sure we could.
Read him
Sure,
in
we could
to
read
an
him in.
extent.
To
Even
an extent.
we don't need to say the other words of what this thing's called, but you could give him enough to know that you're trying to contain the Erskine device.
Yeah.
That would be enough. Selective knowledge.
Yeah, any project you need to do needs to be done first before
Okay.
we give him any idea that we're onto him, before he knows that we're coming for him, because that's when things are going to explode.
I'm also gonna. I'm kind of like nodding my head a little bit as Araben's talking. As I've like ripped a scrap piece of paper out of my notebook and say like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I'm writing something down that I hand to Araben that I've written. That says, you can't know what I'm working on.
Okay, Arabin just stops talking and just nods.
This is going to get interesting. Very interesting.
Until further notice, I'm going to effectively eat, sleep, and live in my workshop. So I need to go to the library first. I need to do some research.
Understood.
I need material samples. I need measurements. I need specs. I need... Honestly, Cecil, anything... I might need a history lesson. I might need any of your accounts from the original incident.
Yes.
Anything that has any sort of visual description, signatures,
I've got
anything.
all those.
I'll take.
I have all the notes back at the scroll. I mean, we
All
saw it. We saw it. I held it. It.
Perfect.
I remember it very well.
Let's talk later tonight then. Yeah.
Yes, let's do that.
Oh shit. Are we okay here? I got the itch, and I'd like to get started on stuff.
Why don't you go get started on stuff?
All right.
Arabin, I point to the paper that Harper handed over to make my point. Arabin, how about you stop at your room and then meet me and we can debrief to Luca?
Absolutely. Also, at some point, I would like to know everything there is to know about our king. I want to know what he doesn't like. I want to know what makes him scared. I want to know how to hurt him.
We could do this with the penumbra in the room.
The penumbra can help.
The penumbra liked that.
An amulet Clippy shows up and is like, I see you're trying to cause great harm to a king. Can I help?
Sounds like you're interested in regicide. Here's some helpful articles.
Cecil stands up and extends their hand to Arabin. I promise to tell you everything I know and more to make this man's life a living hell.
Good.
But when the time comes, I want to be the one to do it.
I think that can be arranged.
You're going to need to help me.
And I will. Whatever you need, I'm at your service.
Murder pact.
Cool. So we just made a regicide pact.
Murder pact. Murder pact. Man, it's been a while since a good murder pact.
We love a good murder pact.
All right. Let's go. Let's go murder a king and save the world. Fuck.
Maybe I make the box so good that we can throw Sterling in it too.
Do you ever make a box so good that no one could open it?
Are we going to Malvolio Sterling?
Maybe. What if we... Okay, what if... Okay. All right.
Okay.
What if, Harper,
Yeah.
what if you made a box, normal size box,
Right.
and then in the box, it's not just the size of the box. What if the inside of the box was your portable hole? And then we could throw whatever we wanted into it and then close the box.
That's part of my idea.
Brilliant.
Because I think just because it's in the hole doesn't mean that it's inaccessible. You know? I need to run some tests.
Let's do it. So sounds like Harper's going to the library and then is going to do sciencey things.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, and Cecil's going to meet Arabin to talk to Luca after we lose some jewelry.
Yeah, Arabin is going to go to his room and taking what Cecil said, he is going to take off his amulet and put it in his special box.
You feel a moment of disappointment as you take the amulet off, which you haven't felt in the past when you've put it away, but you take it off and it's gone.
Yeah, he's going to pause for a second because that was different. But then he knows that's what he has to do, so he continues to put it away.
Okay. We will find Luca first. Cecil, where do you go to try and find Luca?
It's first thing in the morning. I'm going to go to his office first.
Not there.
Okay. I'm going to go down to the mess hall.
As you head towards the mess hall, you hear a commotion up at the top of the stairs that lead down to the crypt. Not bad, just a lot of talking.
Is it voices I recognize?
Yeah, I mean, it's Outrider voices.
It's Outrider voices, okay.
Yeah. Do you go up and investigate?
Yes, because my stealth is shit.
You go up the stairs. Arabin, I would say you would probably join up at about this time.
Yeah.
And you see there are probably about 10 Outriders at the mouth of the crypt. Luca is at the very head of them all. They are all watching a large contingent of Kingsguard marching into town. About 40.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, boy.
Luca is leaning up against the door of the crypt, arms crossed. He is in full regalia.
Okay. Seeing this, Cecil will put themselves together a little bit more. Luca, did we know about this?
I'd heard rumors. Nothing solid, but I had heard that a show of force at the front was going to be possible. And we are the fastest way to the border.
We sure are. Right, P's and Q's for the days then.
Yep. No, everybody on their best behavior. Deference is preferred, but of course, support the local guard where you can. You know how they are.
Will do. Right. Everyone hop to it. Let's go.
Persuasion. I'll give it to you at advantage because you're an old guard.
25.
The 10 or so other outriders who have been looky-looing around shake their heads and be like, yeah, and waving their hands. And one or two, like, gentle pats on the back as they move back into the crypt to get about their day. Seeing that they've dispersed, Luca turns his full attention to the two of you. You had your little ritual last night.
It was incredibly enlightening.
Yeah?
And possibly world-changing.
Yeah, it was, it's gonna make things difficult for sure.
Am I gonna need my tea or something stronger?
Do you remember that old bottle that I told you one day we'd have a really good reason to open it?
Motherfucker. All right, let's go.
It's 9 a.m. somewhere.
We'll cut over to the library at that. Harper, you are in the library, relatively hot on the heels of Lenny. Do you bring Ignis with you?
Always.
Stomp, 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 stomp. Lenny wheels around on his cane. Harper, what can I do for you?
Hi, Lenny. I kind of need to just I need to check some things out for a little bit.
Want to vague that up for me?
I got a list, okay? I'm not trying to be vague.
Okay.
Got a long list. I need stuff on sort of enchanting materials. I need stuff on anti-magic. I need stuff on pocket dimensions. I need sort of like material test records from some of the old crafters from back in the day. Like there was that ruins that we blew up like 4 years ago. They were doing some like material testing out there. I'm looking for those reports. I got a list and I kind of unfurl it for him. I wrote this on the back of Ignis while we were headed over here.
Lenny pulls it up to his eyes, like as close as he can get it, and you casts a light spell like on like the back side of it, so the light is shining through, so he can read it better.
Nice. I can make this easier for you, Chase, and I have several questions that are sort of going to be the results of several experiments.
Sure.
Would I be able to requisition the spinner from Bailey for this?
Probably.
Okay. What would it take for me to permanency cast a spell? It's not really something that exists in this system.
What spell are you trying to cast?
Levitate?
There would be a substantial material component that would either have, depending on what you are trying to levitate and how high you are trying to levitate it.
Yeah. My logic is if you spin the spinner and then levitate the spinner, it'll never stop spinning.
Fair. However, you are trying to cast magic on an anti-magic object.
That was going to be the test if because I had a small conversation with Bailey about, well, if the spinner is magic and it generates anti-magic, how does it function? And I was wondering, that was going to be a test, I suppose, as well, is if I cast levitate on the spinner before it's spinning and then let her rip, will it stay levitating?
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, because I know the answer to this.
Okay.
But does Harper?
Could I have, going into my experiments, can I cast enhance ability on myself for intelligence?
Yes.
Like going into my experiments? Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to give myself advantage. Advantage Arcana is going to be a 25.
So you don't even get into the experiment stage of this. This is in the pure research stage. And what you are able to discern is that your ability to do this would be contingent on a few things. Because the short answer is yes, this is possible. And the way you actually realize that you can get this to work, because if you were just doing pure spell work, the answer would be no. However, you've been messing around with runes over the past year, and you think that with the right set of runes, with the right, essentially, written equation to imbue an object with both a levitation property and an anti-magic property, you would be able to get that to work.
So I'm more so modifying the spinner itself, which frankly feels more in Harper's wheelhouse.
And that's the thing. And that's going to be a hard sell on Bailey.
Yeah.
Like, you
Okay.
know that. If you do that check and it doesn't go poorly, you break the spinner.
Yeah.
And Bailey would dislike that greatly.
My next question, my next experiment, before going into any modifications or discussions with Bailey.
Yeah.
Can I place the portable hole on a vertical surface and it adhere like
Yes.
an Acme okay.
Yes.
Can I place it on a ceiling, and does it stick to a ceiling?
I believe as written, it's like any flat surface.
Cool. How does the anti-magic field from the spinner interact with the portable hole? Does it make it inert? Does it make it you can't enter it? Yeah, right?
I would say that the portable hole is a strong enough magical item that the core functionality would still be there.
Okay.
If you hit the spinner around somebody who has a more magical lineage, like Arabin or Court or something like that, it's not going to unspin them as an individual.
Right.
And I think it would be the same thing with the hole. It's not going to unmake it. This is an, as far as you can tell, old magic item.
Yeah.
But it might make it weaker. It might cause it to unadhere, potentially. It's hard to say in the moment.
Can I physically test it? Can I put the hole on the wall and then rip the spinner and then try to put my hand through the hole? Not my hand. I'm not insane. A 6-foot pole with a hot dog on the end of it. It's my lunch.
Yeah, you could try it. You could run that math.
I would like to.
D&D's real fun.
So I had rolled a 13. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Harper's breaking physics with magic again.
Yep.
23.
With a 23, you are able to see that, for lack of a better term, the hole had to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
So this effect may vary a little bit from time to time. You would have to spend an active, couple of days running these tests to see what the variability would be.
Okay.
But in this moment, what you see is that one of the edges of the hole kind of peeled off a little bit from the wall.
Okay.
But it by and large held.
Okay. My original plan A was to make a box that had the portable hole on the top face and the spinner levitating in the middle. And we throw the core in the hole and then rip the spinner so that it closes the hole. And then we seal the box up with as many goodies as we can, with traps and locks and
Sure.
everything like that, and we bury it 100 feet under the ground.
Sure.
But it sounds like I'll need to do some modifications on that idea.
I will say, as your DM, to inform what Harper would already know, that's not a terrible plan. You can just fold up the hole with stuff in it. Would popping the spinner potentially help that? Maybe.
I think I can simplify this down.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go to the drawing board for a bit. I will retrieve my portable hole hot dog and have it for lunch. And just let the hyper focus reign.
Absolutely.
Anti-magic hot dog.
Anti-magic wiener.
And we cut back over to Luca's office. There is a bottle of mystery liquor sitting on the desk. It is half drained. My question for you, Arabin and Cecil, what did you tell Luca? Everything?
Ryan, am trying to think if there's anything that we wouldn't tell Luca.
I don't think there is.
I
think we just have to go full cards on the table.
I think, yeah. Griff, just to make sure we're all on the same page, you're good with Luca knowing everything, right? Like, that would make sense.
Yeah. He's our captain. Yep. I just wanted to leave the window open if we were gonna fucking go.
Just take care of this yourselves?
Yeah, that we were all on the same page, but like I'm honestly happier that Luca's involved.
Everything short of explaining plastic to him.
Yeah, don't tell Luca about my gun project.
Okay.
I don't want Luca to have to commission the Outriders to all get Glocks, whatever that is.
Leave out the 70s details, but everything about the traitorous king, we spill that tea, sis.
Yes.
Luca is sitting head fully in hand. You're certain. Because you did see this on a wild drug trip, for lack of a better term. So I want to make fucking sure.
It was too real to be anything else. There's only one way this can end.
Harper was able to bring back physical notes. We were there and we saw and experienced it. Based on all of our research, based on everything we know of how this works, yes. But also with the timeline of the device disappearing, when Sterling would have taken it disappearing for a certain amount of time.
Right.
The quickly, the all over the place health of the previous king, ups and downs. It makes too much sense and answers too many questions for this did not be accurate, and I am so sorry.
It's not fine, but it is what it is. It's just... At the simplest and most base level, this is just the worst order of operations puzzle I need to solve, and that's just how I break these things down. Because do we solve the problem of a horribly corrupt government that has murdered its citizenry? Or do we try and take this from an outrider perspective first and see if we can get enough people back on our side? Because I don't have to tell you that this is not outriderly conduct, and maybe we can get him brought up on charges, and maybe if we can bring him up on charges, we can get enough of us back together and get enough people who have just been lax in their duties fired up. Or maybe this is the thing that finally puts this organization out of its misery.
Charges are not enough. I said it before, I'll say it again. This only ends one way.
I'm well aware, Arabin. I'm well aware how this has to go. The charges would only be to maybe try and rustle some more folk up to help us for whatever it is that's actually coming. Because I need you to understand the war at the gates is real. War is coming to this country sooner than we want to talk about. Those people up there are not here for a fucking parade.
And Sterling has no children.
None.
There is no designated heir.
We don't know that. There is no publicly designated heir.
There's no publicly designated heir, and at a time of war, that is a massive mistake on Sterling's part.
It's genuinely shocking, and every time I brought it up to him, he just waves me off. So that leads me to believe he has some sort of plan.
Maybe he has some sort of plan, or maybe the device did something to him and his family lineage, or there was a cost or a demonic bargain struck, or
who knows?
Who knows? Any or all of them could be true, but that's not the important thing.
No.
The important thing right now is that we can't do anything about a war. But we can do something about the device.
Yes.
And I think that the first thing we need to do is make sure these Kingsguard don't find out anything today.
No.
And then Harper's working on a box. If we can
Okay.
go retrieve the device from Scales Right and lock it away, that at least solves the under-earthed problem.
The
That
what?
solves the under-earthed, the undersigned, the
There we go.
signed.
Okay, sorry.
There's this, like, they've been called a lot of things at this point. I think they're all kind of the same, but
Yeah, I just...
one day.
Fine.
One day we'll write a little manual about it and we'll get it all on paper, and I'm sure people will have fun reading it.
One of these days.
But if we can go and grab that, grossly underestimating that, but if we can get that and take care of it and seal it away, that solves a lot of problems.
It does.
The Sterling problem cannot be solved today, but the
No.
device problem can be.
Well, we can't solve it today. It's a good hike away. Scales Right is like a week or two at least. I haven't even...
That is a journey, yes, but that is the order of operations this has to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not think many people can go. This is
No.
going to have to be...
No, this we have
A
to keep to ourselves.
And
Small team, and
If it
even
doesn't-
prep needs to be small.
if, yes, Harper's going to enlist Bailey and Dieter and keep them need to know, but she's going to need their help to make this containment device.
Yes.
I'm going to bring her up to speed on everything device related that she may not know yet. And we go from there. And our good friend Sterling has a lot of crimes to answer for, but if we make him answer for them now, it hurts our people worse. And then what would the Outriders be?
Exactly.
We've given too many decades to this organization to see it crumble now. We can solve one problem and then take care of the war. And maybe that takes care of the Sterling problem ourselves somehow. But I would very, very much like to be the person that puts a knife through his slimy little throat.
All in due time.
And I will wait, and I will bide my time however long I have to.
And he gives you a look that you've seen before. Right then. In time.
In time. He'll know it was me.
All right. I need to... And he takes another pour from the bottle, knocks it back. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to go and get something that is strong and not alcoholic to cover the scent of this on my breath, and then I'm going to go and see what the hell a platoon of Kingsguard is doing here in town and see how long they're going to be here. You two do whatever prep you want or need to do. I'll pull you off duties as long as I can.
Sounds good.
But
We'll need information on Scales Right.
I know you sent Katie away to do her whole thing. That's fine. Do you need anybody keeping an eye on things at the scrolls, or do your kids have it covered?
Oh, yeah. I'd almost forgotten about that, honestly. No, they'll have it covered. And if they don't, it's okay.
All right. And he looks a little surprised at that answer, but he lets it go. Right then.
Well, KT needed to go, but also the seat is probably safer.
Probably. She keeps her nose clean.
She mostly will.
Relatively.
Yes. Smash cut away to Katie doing something very terrible in a booter scooter.
There's an explosion and a fireball behind her as she is rocketed out of the doorway with a chest full of jewels in her hand. And she's like, come on, Rose White, or whoever the fuck she went with. Like,
Rose White's just shooting fire bolts out of his wand.
That is our Patreon episode.
Yeah, hey, Ryan, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Also, when Luca's gone, Arabin needs to talk to Cecil. Because this is the first Arabin's heard about the box.
Luca leaves you two behind in his office to go and do the things that he said he was going to do.
So is the box what Harper couldn't tell me about?
That is correct, yes.
I don't know if that's going to work.
I don't either.
As long as that core is around, the Penumbra's going to stop at nothing to get it.
I agree. But it is at least a way for us to transport it and store it temporarily. I don't think it's a long-term solution. I think we needed something else, but it will at least allow us to move it without being affected, hopefully.
Yeah.
Has the Penumbra told you why it wants it? Besides the obvious, everything wants more power and wants to ascend, and all of the terrible things that I assume the Penumbra would do with an infernal core.
As far as I understand, that's what it is. The Penumbra wants to ascend. And I don't know what will happen if he does. And I don't know what will happen to me once he does.
Or if he doesn't get it, and he knows it's close.
He's taken over my body before. I'm sure he could do it again.
But only while you were wearing the amulet, yes?
Yes, but without the amulet, I'm significantly less powerful.
Understood. Yes. At some point, the risk isn't worth it.
Yeah. I'm just afraid. Next to knowing what the device is, knowing what a core can do, killing a king seems like child's play. It's the after that scares me.
A series of hard and impossible things we're being asked to do, Arabin. I wouldn't trust anyone else.
Okay. One step at a time, then.
Can you take it off? And you could use your powers from here, right? You're not actually less powerful in this moment with it, half a mile over.
I feel disconnected, in a sense.
Have you tried to see how your power is affected by distance or from
I've never
wearing it for multiple days?
I've never tried magic without it.
Well, don't blow up Luca's office here, but can you?
Yeah, I'll go down to Miller's Pond.
Do you want me to come with you?
That would be nice.
Okay.
Let's go.
The two of you walk down to Miller's Pond.
Chase,
Yeah.
mechanical question.
Yeah.
The amulet is my spellcasting focus.
Yes.
What does that mean mechanically in the game?
That means the two of you get down to Miller's Pond and you try to blast, and you cannot blast.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Can you summon your sword?
Chase, is that a thing that is tied to spellcasting focus?
It's a pact feature, but that's not a spell. So I think the answer is yes. I think you can do that.
Okay, so that's the start.
The sword feels heavier, but I think I can still swing it.
Yeah. You feel like your martial abilities have not diminished, but you are unable to cast anything that would be classified as a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Caveat, actually. you feel like if you have the material components of a spell, which typically you do not need because you have your foci, but without the focus, if you can find like the weird bits and bobs that each spell requires to be cast, you could cast it that way, the traditional route. You might be able to make that work. However, a lot of spells specifically, I think like, I don't think Eldritch Blast has any material components, so if there are no material components, you can't cast that. You need your focus.
Because that one's specifically tied to Warlockness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've learned a few things today.
Yeah, without it, I can still swing a sword, but there's a lot more to my power than just that.
Arabin, I'm sure you've thought long and hard about this, but either the Penumbra gets what it wants or it doesn't. And either way, the Penumbra likely won't have use for you after.
Yeah. But I should also point out that I'm not the only one who is trying to serve the Penumbra.
Oh?
There are others.
Huh. I mean, that would track. It's a patron. It's something that can dole out power. It would dole out power to more than one, and it is not, it does not lack intelligence and guile. It could ensnare and sorcel multiple, or just the promise of power, honestly. Yes, that would make sense.
And if it's aware that the core is near, it's not just me that he's going to send after it.
This is true. This is true.
The core either needs to be in use or destroyed.
Well, there is another option.
Are you talking about the eyeball monster?
Cecil taps the golden scarab pin that they attached to their coat.
You are
that
talking
Carrie
about
gave
the
them.
eyeball monster.
Yes. I don't know if that one's on our side, but it's at least not explicitly evil. An infernal core would change most things, like it would twist or bend the essence. But in essence, a magical device such as that, a divine device as they may be, it doesn't make you anything more or less than you already are. It doesn't change the basic fundamentals of your being. It just magnifies it.
Yeah. As much as I don't want that eyeball thing to have it, I think I want the Penumbra to have it less.
I think we're on the same page. I think that's a better, more permanent option than giving it to someone who will use it would be great. But we've seen what decades of this device floating around out in the world does. And we can't do that anymore. We can't just bury it.
I agree. Like you said, there are a lot of impossible tasks that we have to do. And this is just one of them.
Arabin, I know the Penumbra gives you power, right? And it is a lot of power, and it's made you an impressive outrider and a skillful one as well, but at this point you have to know that breaking a pact for your power would hurt, yes, but you've grown so far you'd be able to find other magical means. It would not be pleasant But if you are staying with this thing only for the power that it gives you, my friend, you've grown powerful in your own right.
But I don't know what I'd do without it.
I have a few ideas.
Well, let's go back to town. I can't think about it right now.
Thank you for joining us here on Another Path. You can find our website and merch store at anotherpathpodcast.com, on Twitter at anotherpathpod, and our network at ghostlightmedia.net. You can support our efforts by donating at patreon.com/ghostlightmedia or by giving us a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher will let you. You can find me on Twitter at TQLoudly, Griffin at GriffCold, and Ryan at RyanRoll20. You can find Justin on TikTok at JustJustinMichael, and myself at TQLoudly. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode, and until then, remember that when you're working a haunted house for a charity event or really any reason, pace yourself and your voice for a much better week ahead. Just saying. This has been a Ghostlight Media production.